Good. All right. Hi, Latinos in Clinical Research. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We are with Elizabeth Tabor. Thank you so much for being with us today, Elizabeth. We really appreciate it and really excited to introduce you to everybody. I'm sure a few people have already kind of caught you active on LinkedIn, and you're obviously doing your own organization, which we wanted you to speak about today. But yeah, so if you can just, I guess, give us a little bit of background on you and introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, so I'm Elizabeth Tabor. I am currently based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I started clinical research in 2018. Like many people, I wanted to be a CRA coming in, but I knew that it wasn't entry level, so I was like, goodness, what am I going to do? So I tried the hard way. I sent countless cold emails to recruiters, to anybody, people that worked at companies, anybody that would just could get an email from me. I was like, I'm trying to get in. And I had absolutely no luck with that. And I had a friend, and actually it's my co-founder, Kalia Bradley. She was like, you should try LinkedIn. So I got on LinkedIn and the world opened up for me. I was no longer just a random email that people probably thought it was spam. I was somebody that people could be like, "Oh, I see your face," and was able to put my experience. And through that, I was able to connect with the manager at Vanderbilt, who gave me actually my first interview for clinical research. With that, I unfortunately didn't get that job, but they did give me something more valuable. That they gave me a referral. And that referral is actually what started my career in clinical research. From there, I like to tell people that I've done the gambit. So I've done study startup, I did being a CTA, and I've been a study coordinator, and then I finally became a CRA. With that, it was something that I really enjoyed doing, but now it's like, okay, it's time for me to level up my skills, which brings us here to today. That as I was thinking about how I was going to grow my career beyond being a CRA, I realized that I was not that great at networking, and my network had shrunk after I had reached my goal of being a CRA. And from being on LinkedIn, I kind of realized that, a lot of people were struggling with that networking issue. So that was the birth idea of the Clinical Research Referral Club, just because I have personally realized how important networking is and how important referrals are to get jobs in this industry. So I really wanted to give people a safe space for them to, be able to network and, build relationships that can help them in their career as well.
Wait, referral. Well, first of all, thank you, Elizabeth, for coming on. So, as the site owners here might be wondering, you get any studies for us in this referral club?
Actually, so actually, we do support business owners. So with that, networking is networking, and I have been building my network to help as many clinical researchers as possible. So yes, we do actually have the ability to help site owners with some of the
Ah,
connections that I have been making.
That's
And it's not
ah.
trying
awesome.
to find
Very cool.
somebody. I'm a great researcher.
Well, just to give a little bit of context, so her organization is called the Clinical Research Referral Club, as she just mentioned. I really enjoyed me and Elizabeth got to speak on the side prior to this. I really, really loved how, every organization out there right now has their main focus and purpose. Like LICR is right. We're really about giving free content and access for people to people. That's really kind of what we focus in on through these webinars, right? To get people aware of things that they wouldn't have otherwise seen on their own. And so I like how you're focusing on the connection, and even more so that you are being very mindful about, how you're charging, right? And how you're bringing people in, because obviously, right, it's a hard economy right now. And also people that need these referrals usually are, starting off, in a space where it's a little bit tight financially and all those kinds of things. So I really like that because, nowadays, if an organization does provide that kind of service, the charge is a tier base, or it's pretty extreme, and it doesn't really necessarily guarantee a lot of things. And so I was really happy that to have met you, and then you got to talk about that. And if you don't mind kind of giving more insight on that, because I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that.
Okay, yes. So a part of our strategy is we believe that networking should be affordable. As much as many of us would love to go to conferences, $1,000 here and there to go to them is not really feasible. And if you're somebody who is more shy with networking, you could really feel like, you wasted your money in those spaces. So our our LinkedIn group is completely free. That is where we start. So that's where we started. It's completely free for everybody to join. And with that, if you've been trying to network on LinkedIn, I'm sure you realize that you will hit a connection limit really quick in terms of messages. So being a part of our LinkedIn group, LinkedIn gives you 15 additional message credits for when people are in a shared group with you, because that now makes you a first connection. So that was our first part of helping people, of getting around LinkedIn's premium limits and allowing people to connect more. And then for our platform, we do start out at $4.99 a month, because we believe that everybody should have the opportunity to network and get to know people. And our platform allows enhanced features where everybody is connected in that, so you don't have to worry about, is this person going to respond to me. We're able to push out mass messages without fighting through LinkedIn's algorithm. And then also a safe space, because if you've been on LinkedIn, every like, comment, share is shown on your feed. And we understand that some people are kind of searching for new opportunities in the background. So that's really what's the purpose of our space, is to allow people to have a safe space to say, I'm grateful for where I'm at now, but I am looking to better myself and not feel that their current connections and employers will retaliate against them for that. And from there, we do have some additional plans. And those plans, our highest plan is at $19.99 a month. And with that plan, we, still price it to be very affordable. And primarily the reason for the cost is just, it just costs to keep up the website and operations to do um the what yeah.
Like maintenance,
That's a lot
yeah.
of work.
That was
Yeah,
A
the
lot
it's
of work.
smartest
Wait,
statement.
yeah.
you said $4.99 a month, so it's not $499 a month. It's
Nope,
$5.
$4.99 a month.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's
$5.
understandable, like, these okay, so it's time and effort. It takes time and effort to do these things. That's what we like to tell when we speak to sponsors. It's like we're not going to charge our audience because we're not necessarily doing a service like that, right? But, for just general things that we're doing, we're not going to charge our audience, but understand that if we're going to collaborate with a bigger organization, our time is time and money and effort, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's things that you have to put value to what you're doing, the work in what you're doing. And so I think $4.99 is more than reasonable. And honestly, it makes it pretty much inclusive for everybody, which is really great. It's commendable because, I've heard of other prices around the corner or around the yard of how much, charges are happening and all that stuff. And even then it's not necessarily inclusive to everybody. So I really commend you for you doing that. And I really hope that some of our members that, are watching now or watching later, really take advantage of this because it's a great opportunity. We're always talking about networking. Even Dan is always talking about networking on his own podcast. It's really important.
Yeah, I might join this thing. $5. I'll just
Yeah.
skip Starbucks one day. You know,
Right there you go.
let's
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
do
was
let's
well,
get a
actually
study.
thinking of the same thing. I was going to ask
Yeah,
some
me too.
questions
Me
about that.
too.
And we
I was
tell
like, when's the
people,
next
Elizabeth.
meeting or
Yeah,
connection?
yeah,
Elizabeth, I have a quick question.
okay,
So, what is gonna get people? What is gonna? I mean, $4.99. What is gonna get to people, right? What is that? Includes.
so that includes all of our networking events. And then also we have different spaces within our community. So you will get the introduction lounge. So that's for everybody to meet. All, like I said, all of our networking events. We have a general discussion forum. Um, but really, the difference between the 4.99 and the higher plan is when we start doing webinars, is that people that can't make it will start recording it. But the 4.99 plan does pretty much offer, the good amount to get started with your networking. It's for people that are, still a little skeptical, not sure how much time they can put in it. But yes, it's not hidden paywalls at all. They will get the value of our organization with the
How
$4.99.
Yeah, I mean,
how
if somebody's paying 4.99, and I mean, even if they were paying $1, right? If it's for your own benefit, uh, I mean, the time that you spend is gonna be reflecting also in the results. So if you don't spend much time, then don't expect magic, right?
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So it is important that people also understand that. So the when you say the networking events, is that done on a real life, or is done digital kind of remote
So right
events?
now we're completely virtual. With us being a global organization, with that, our networking events are like no other networking events. So we do what's called speed networking. So people come in, we do an icebreaker, and then we randomly pair them in different rooms and give them questions to ask to get that conversation started. We put a timer on it, and then after that timer, we switch it up. It's very lively. I always enjoy when we have
Oh,
to
I
bring.
love it.
That sounds fun,
It's like
honestly. It
a
does.
speed dating.
It sounds
I
really good.
love that. I absolutely love it.
So
Absolutely love that.
So just so everybody knows, I already spoke to Dan about it. But Elizabeth, when we did speak, we got to talk about it as well. But so for the rest of the team to hear, but I was really moved by what Elizabeth's doing. So to give her and her new organization like platform, we invited her to SOS so that she can be there and you know um, actually be able to market her organization to everybody, because there are plenty of sites out there, site professionals that are wanting to see at sites or moving up or however it might look, or sites that might need help like you had mentioned that you do. um, those kinds of things, we really want to give you a space at SOS so that you can grow, and really do what you can to really just get out there as fast as possible. And who knows, maybe meet more individuals that might come in and be able to give you more space to do more networking or other types of networking for careers, etc.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's one of the things. So we do hope to see Elizabeth there, or somebody representing your organization, Elizabeth. And so yeah, we'll be in talks about that. And we also do have our own meeting with Elizabeth soon, because we'll be talking about our stories and how we came together as a group, because we're all from all over the place. So stories
Yeah.
interesting to make sure that what was Elizabeth? You were gonna you hear people's stories to provide feedback on how you can connect. Sorry, I think I'm like going blank right now.
Wait, hold on. Elizabeth, you're coming SOS? You please tell me you are.
I am definitely working on getting there.
Okay, because we got to think of like there's like this year we did a networking panel. You would have been perfect for that. But
Hmm.
there's always networking
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
topics.
And we want new faces. We
Yeah.
want to represent
Yes. Yeah.
what the industry is growing into, not what has been or has continuously been, right? We need to bring new faces and fresh minds and all those kinds of things. And what you're doing is different from what other organizations are doing. And I'm sure it's extremely useful. And I mean, we're all interested, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
signing up right
Even
now.
for the students, I think I mean, for the students will be a great opportunity to network even more. So maybe we have to talk about this off camera, Elizabeth.
Yeah, we have a meeting on November
Yeah.
2nd. So we already got that situated.
Oh, that's awesome.
Second or
Perfect.
November
Oh,
4th, one of those. We already got it going. Yeah, for sure. But
yes.
so Elizabeth, I guess tell us a little bit about, I guess, what sparked specifically bringing this organization to life, and like I guess what's continued to help you move forward, because we know just with LICR it's about 4 years. It's not easy, and it's a lot of resistance against the momentum that you have. And so what pushed you towards that? What keeps you motivated? And I guess so far, if you found any barriers in the industry, and what are they?
I I would say what keeps me motivated is I'm passionate about clinical research. That is what I love to do. But through my time in the industry, I've realized one of the biggest problems in clinical research is a lack of visibility. So I really use this platform not only to boost the professionals who make it happen, but also the industry altogether. People cannot help you and support you if they do not know about you, and that is why I wake up every day and do what I do. I am somebody that I fell into clinical research. I had no clue about it, and a conversation changed my life. I met a woman, and she was like, "Oh, I want to be a CRA." And I was like, "What? A CRA? What's that?" And from that moment, I had been on a path in clinical research. So I have personally experienced how a conversation can change your life. And I also realized that everybody says network, 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 but nobody talks about how networking is a skill, that
Mhm.
you have to learn how to go in a room, start a conversation, and find middle ground quickly. And then also to know when you're actually not connecting with people, and taking a step back and finding people that you can have that conversation with. For me myself, people see me today and they're like, "Oh, you're a great networker," but that has not always been the case. The Elizabeth you see today is, somebody who practiced networking. So when I tell my members it might be hard for you today, but seeing me is proof that if you put effort into learning how to network, it is possible to achieve that.
Not especially if you're shy and you're doing the speed networking thing. Is just basically you're forced to use those few minutes to make it work, right? So I think it's awesome. It's amazing, and at the end probably of the first session you're almost an expert.
Yeah, and then I believe in what I would call low stake environments. The first time most people have to network, they have something very valuable on the line. They're looking for a new job, they're looking for a new opportunity, and that can add extra pressure when you are trying to network. So our space gives people the confidence to start networking in a low stakes environment where they don't feel that they're going to lose something or part of their livelihood if they don't get it right there in that moment. Especially for people who are shy. I have been to industry conferences and I'm not necessarily shy, but I do better in a smaller room. So,
Mhm.
we would sit in seminars and then they would be like, "Okay, network," and then threw me in a room full of 100 plus people. And I had a hard time finding my space. So, from my personal experience of somebody who's not shy but can get shy in bigger rooms, I could just imagine the struggle people that are actually shy have when they want to put themselves out there. But, that's the first time that they ever had that. And so, not only are they trying to learn how to network, it's also high stakes for them at that point.
Chris, I think you would benefit from this referral network.
I
You
would,
get in
would I?
there.
Chris is our social butterfly on the team, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We always try to get him to talk
He
less,
just
Chris,
started a
talk less.
LinkedIn. He just started a LinkedIn. A very good newsletter, by the way. So everybody go
Oh,
subscribe.
I think I
I
am connected with Chris, but it's
absolutely
not easy
love
to be
his
connected.
newsletters. Yes.
Awesome.
Highly recommend Chris's newsletter. It's just
They
amazing. I
make
love
me
it.
giggle.
I love to read it. Yeah.
Well, so far, Elizabeth, I guess with one of your more recent webinars in your organization, I know you mentioned that you try to highlight how people, connect in the most unexpected places and things like that. Has there been any particular stories recently that have really popped out? Because at least I know, like when you mentioned um, you had that one conversation that kind of changed your life. Like I can genuinely say, if it wasn't for meeting Dan, I would never have met anybody else here in this group, including you. And it's like my trajectory completely changed because of that. And so I think I can only imagine the other kinds of stories you come across in your organization.
I'm gonna say one that really touches me right now. If you've seen Cornerstone Clinical Research Services, they have a volunteer program Their founders, Nicole and Pretty, are actually members of ours. And her being networking within Clinical Research Referral Club, she realized, a gap in the terms of hands-on experience. And, and she was already offering mentorship, and that kind of pushed her to be like, let me do this on a group scale. So now she has this amazing volunteer program, and our members so far have been able to not only connect with an industry leader, but then start getting hands-on experience to change from I'm a recent graduate to, I can now speak some clinical research jargon. Um, and even in general, my LinkedIn feed has changed just so much since the Clinical Research Referral Club started. I've met so many amazing people, and I see so many more people connecting and actually interacting, which I love. So, yeah, I would say that that's one of the stories that sticks out, is that, a
That's
lot
a
of members now have that hands-on experience opportunity.
That's amazing. I actually, even if you could connect us with them, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I even like the idea of highlighting this at SOS, maybe kind of showing a layout of how that works for them, for their site, and presenting that to other sites so that they can utilize that and get
Yeah, that'd be
extra help.
awesome.
I think that stuff is really good, and I don't see anybody else really doing that. So
I
so
just
that
signed up, by the way. I'm in. I'm in the
I need to
Clinical
sign up.
Research Referral Club.
I need to. I
You're part of the
don't want to
club.
get distracted. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's really great. I really like hearing, that you're doing this, and I'm personally very happy to see more and more organizations coming out with meaningful work and, just actively being out there and making change happen and really connecting people. That is, truly where it's at. And I genuinely feel like we're going into a space where we're all trying to see each other more and more, and real people are connecting with each other and really making things happen. So thanks for the work you're doing.
Yeah, I definitely think we have a lot of things that we can think on. Your work, our work, and obviously everybody's right. That's the beauty of networking, that we all scratch everybody's backs and we get scratch ours.
Yes, collaboration is so
Yeah.
powerful. And even with what we're doing, we really believe in collaboration. For us, there's no need to duplicate effort. That, we see these platforms, we see what people are doing. And I personally, I look at it as, is this something that I wish I would have had coming in? And if the answer is yes, I am always happy to use CRRC to boost their visibility, because we understand that people are inundated with options nowadays, and they just want somebody to say, what do you think about this? And for me, I'm like, hey, I looked at this as a clinical researcher, I have that experience, and I can give, do I think that this will help you in a way that you think? So that's why it's also important for me to hear people's stories as well. So I can kind of guide them to be like, if that's calling to you, sure, but I necessarily wouldn't do it that way, and kind of give some people some solutions, because traditional methods are not working anymore. And with that, I'm just like, okay, let's strategize about how we can get to the same goal, but work ourselves in 2024, where having an online presence is very important. Any application you pull up nowadays, it asks, do you have a LinkedIn? So, just kind of transitioning people to the new age of what it means to be a professional and how people are connecting.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
think.
Yeah. Very good,
Oh,
Judy.
sorry. No, I was going to say, I think that's important because it took me a long time to actually start networking. Even though I was in the industry for many years, I didn't do a ton of networking. Actually, I'm going to say it was probably COVID year when I connected with Dan and everybody else. And I think he had daily meetups or weekly meetups at that time. And so that's when I realized I waited too long to do this. I should have done it sooner, but there wasn't nothing like a platform like yours, right? Where you bring everybody together. So I definitely recommend for any of those new to industry, even those who have been in the industry, to definitely check your organization out, because it's definitely, once I started doing it that year, it opened up so many opportunities and so many things, and things I probably should have done way earlier in my research career. But I think I was just so involved with growing a research site that I didn't think of anything outside of that for a while, until I realized, oh, I should do more in the industry as well. So yeah, thank you for having that organization and that platform to make it easier for others to connect with each other.
Yeah, and I think that that's also probably the beauty about that too, Judy, is that somebody could hear your story, could be barely starting off or barely start, starting their own site and be like, I'm just going to focus on this first, and they hear your story and they'll be like, okay, maybe I really should actually start and try to incorporate it. We have some comments here saying collaboration over competition, collaborate and grow, lift as you climb 100%. I mean, it's really important that I told you this, Elizabeth, when you've been in this industry for a while, and especially like in the case of us for LICR, where we're having these meetings and we're speaking to multiple organizations, you start to get quick and easy to see who's actually here for sincerity and genuine like collaboration, regardless of what comes and what doesn't come with it, as opposed to, where other things kind of come in the tie with it. And so it's really nice to have spoken with you, obviously very genuine and clearly, just especially after now hearing with the rest of the team,
Yeah.
we
Good
want to
point.
collaborate very much with you, and I definitely do see us doing a lot more things together. And I'm actually going to link you in with Myra Funville, and I'm sorry if I'm chopping her name up right now. She's the
Interim visits.
Oh yes, yeah, interim
Yes,
visit.
I've already
Okay, good, good. Yeah, she's
connected.
awesome. She's great, and she's the same thing. She wants to just bring in and highlight organizations bringing in change. So, I'm glad to hear that you're already in contact with her. That's good. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very
gosh,
important to be authentic. I'm on the app. They got an app too. This thing's
ah,
amazing.
very
Wow,
nice.
cool.
24 members near me. Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's
Yes,
actually the location.
Yeah.
yes, for those people that want to have a coffee, it's definitely
Nice.
Yeah,
possible.
coffee. You gotta
I guess
drive a long way
I
for
guess
coffee.
walk us through that real quick. I mean, because I haven't. I mean, we don't even have an app. Well, what do you? The app is. What do you get on the app exactly?
So the app is a complete online community. So with that, we have what's called collections and spaces, and we have different spaces for different reasons. So introduction, just general talking, because we realize nobody wants to just talk about work all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe we could bond over we like dogs. We have what we call a company connect that Glassdoor only gets you so far. And sometimes you have to, tell people what your experience was like, but, do it in a professional way. So we
Yeah.
allow people that safe space to be like, this was my experience at that company. Take that how you may. Also, we have a Q&A. So for the Q&A, no silly questions. So we allow people to connect and, get their questions asked. We have a space just for our meetings where everybody gets notifications. So yeah, it's the full source that we can connect with our members better, where we're just not fighting against that LinkedIn algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the comments that I've been reading on LinkedIn. Many very positive. One of the comments that I actually like very much. So kudos to Kylie. She says collaboration over competition, and that's all about it, right? And then also Marianne, which I cannot wait to meet her
Yes.
at the SOS.
Oh, I love
Because
her. And Clean Girl.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Marianne,
collaborate
you're
and
taking your
grow.
rounds.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's all what it is. I mean, lifting over others while you grow, right? So it's great to do these collaborations and also highlight organization like yours, because we do our part and you're doing yours too, and sharing the information is also a great way to network. So sharing is caring, like everybody says.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
room for everybody. There's honestly room for everybody. There's no reason to be, oh, why do they do this? Why do they do that? Why do they have more? Whatever. There's room for everybody. And I think it comes down to showcase like how well you can work with other people and actually see that, there's strengths here, there's strengths there, and how you can come together and synergize those strengths to actually make a voice and actually be seen. It's hard to be seen just as one whole. Normally you have to kind of come together, and honestly, I think that this working together, your organization and LICR, and of course any others that end up coming through, it's just it's just great. It's honestly great. I really can't wait till we start doing more. And I do hope that we have you at SOS. I think it would be beneficial, not just to meet you in person, but also just for everybody else that's there.
We're basically putting you on the spot,
I know.
Elizabeth. You have to say yes already.
You have no choice. You have no choice.
Yes, really grateful for the opportunity and being able to talk to people about clinical research. And here recently, I've had people talk about having imposter syndrome and maybe even being scared to approach me now that I have this platform. But I tell people I am a person, and you should try to connect with people from people to people or person to person versus titles. We all wake up every day and have to put our pants on one leg at a time. So even if that's your starting point in connecting with people, I just want to show that like titles are one thing, but if you're in a space, and when it comes to clinical research, you at least have a shared interest there. And you don't have to worry about, okay, this person has been there for 20 years, because you do have that shared interest.
Uh,
That's actually true.
where do you see the organization going? Like if you could look like 3 years, 5 years down the line, and you had all the resources you had available, what were your goals for that?
I would say 3 years down the line, I hope to see a more connected clinical research industry. I have realized that the industry is very siloed. People are doing lots of amazing work, but nobody's really talking to each other. So I would say our goal is to be the glue, pretty much, of saying you might come from a different background, you might have different interests, but together we make the industry stronger. We've had situations where people ask, why are you global? How is that going to help me? I'm in the US. And I remind them that we work at global companies. You can meet somebody in France, and that can be your referral to a company you want to work in. Those portals, it doesn't care what country you're in. They're just saying, hey, do you know somebody that works here? So just really realizing that we are in a global industry. And yes, you're running a trial in the US, but they're also probably running that same trial in the UK. And it's just important to, what our counterparts are doing and seeing how that brings in more people. I really preach that a lack of diversity means a lack of data. So, we have to be diverse in our perspectives and our backgrounds to get the data we need for more people to benefit from what we do every day.
That's great. I mean, awesome, yeah, and we do hope so too. That, and it's 100% true that it's everybody's having the same conversations, but everyone's siloed. That's 100% true. At least on our end, we've been here for some time already, and the fact that we haven't necessarily moved forward very fast with certain organizations, even though we've had multiple conversations, it's been made clear that it's not just, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of up and down, the ladder, and who approves, who doesn't, and what that looks like, and all those kinds of
There's a lot of
things.
power in that. Who you know,
Yeah.
Elizabeth would love to have you on my podcast one of these days too, because what you're doing, I think, is the important. It's like the unification of people, which is something we've been trying to do, and we're trying to do with SOS. But it's really like the last hierarchy of human growth, like whether it's spiritual, career. I'm not religious, but the Bible says when two or more are gathered in my name. Like there's clearly like universal principles be about union
Hmm.
that I think could easily be applied to our industry, and for decades they haven't. I mean, look at the article that came out today about the Alzheimer's thing with the patients not being told,
Advara.
and yeah, and that was 20 years ago because of the opaqueness of the industry, which today I don't think that would actually, I don't think that would be able to fly under the radar for that long in today's age. And that's because people are more open, more authentic. So we need more movements like this where the founders are really like have genuine authenticity and not just looking to make quick bag, get the bag and
Or
let's
get
go. Let's
highlighted
move.
or all those kinds of things. Like,
Right.
yeah, we just want, I mean,
There's
for
a
us,
bigger purpose.
yeah, we don't care who gets highlighted here, or who gets put on an article. Like, as long as LICR's mission's getting out there and we're able to do a further reach, we don't care. You know what I mean? We just want to get more exposure. We want to be able to show people there's actually a space here. And again, when you came to me, I was like immediately yes, right? Because if we could have had that kind of space when we started, because this came from scratch, right? Just a full build on. But if we would have had other organizations like yours to kind of give us that step in, I mean, that would have been amazing. So anything we can do for those kinds of organizations that are just starting, we want to do that. So that's again why we invite you to SOS and help, rocket you quicker, because clearly you already have an amazing foundation. You're really thinking intuitively about what people need and what you personally wanted. And that's honestly what most of us here in this group right now, and a lot of people that we speak to, what they've built themselves on, taking what they've learned, what they needed, getting in this industry and growing in this industry and multiplying that to give back and resources to people. Right. And so, I think what you're doing is
Yeah,
amazing.
and I think your organization goes aligned with obviously with Latinos in clinical research and with the SOS because we our intention with the SOS is to make it more intimate. So it's not a bigger space where the fish get lost, like right? It's just it's an area where everybody get to talk to each other, and it's more like kind of familiar than just a big massive corporate thing, right? Nothing against it because every single area offers different different benefits, right? But um, as a team, we saw the benefit or greater benefit on doing it more intimate. So that's why we're pushing you to come and meet and join us in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have so much respect and admiration for all of you and what you're doing. And I know as a minority how often we can be pushed in the background and unseen and unheard. And for that, I'm just like, our voices collectively are stronger than one. I personally see so many amazing resources that people do not tap into because they do not have the social credibility that people look for today. So I really try to say, hey, I know that they don't have thousands of followers, but this is a clinical researcher who's trying to give back. And, these resources are actually valuable to you and where you say you're trying to go.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
amazing.
So like Niva says, Jess is all about lift as you climb.
Yes, that's our
It's
motto.
Yeah.
exactly that. It's exactly that.
Oh, and then
Exactly.
I wanted to say, even with you guys being Latinos in clinical research at the CRA East Coast, I had lots of sites in Florida. And with that, I had coordinators where English was not their first language. And they would apologize to me for that. And I would always tell them, don't apologize. I only know English. You are, talking to me in a language that's not your first language. And part of our platform is for people where English is not their first language. We want them to come in and feel comfortable, talking and not feeling like they have to apologize because their English is not perfect.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you
Well,
for doing that.
just send them to my videos.
I definitely got you. Or even people that have thicker accents. I know that, as Americans, that sometimes when people have thicker accents, they kind of tune out. and that's not okay. So just giving people a space where they are introduced with diversity and what that means in communication, and how to work through those initial barriers and roadblocks to connect with people where your language skills are maybe for that language you're not in the same spot, without, like I said, feeling like you have to beat yourself up if things were not perfect in that moment.
I think if anything is more I mean, I think we've been today more spiritual, religious, whatever, but it's more a blessing than a curse, just because besides speaking English, whether it is perfect or not, you communicate, right? And then in addition to that, you have another language, so it's a benefit, and especially more now than ever when we need more diversity. So we need to also break those boundaries or those walls when it comes to that specific point with the language barrier or with the language. Um, yeah, but many people get shy about it or get very insecure about it when it should be the opposite, right? Um,
Yes.
exactly. So yeah, like the just like we were just talking, lift as you climb. So
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a big example of that. If it wasn't because I was given an opportunity by Chris and Dan, I would probably not be here today.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
thought Monica was a spy.
from another site. It's a really funny
No,
story.
yeah, we thought Monica was a spy from a investor, one of our partners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
thank you so much,
Oh, Karina,
Karina.
what's up, Karina?
You're my people. Thank you for a platform to be authentic, showcase diversity in this industry. 100%. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's important, and I do think also how you highlight it is important too. Not necessarily in such a, I guess, rough space that sometimes I feel people kind of portray it a certain way. I think it's just a beautiful thing. People need to come together and just be open and not silo. But
Yes.
one thing. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. What did you?
Oh no, I was gonna tell people a smile is universal. You can smile at somebody and they know what that means.
Yes.
Yeah.
We chose our backgrounds and where we grew up at, but we all are people nonetheless and live a human experience, and there's such beauty in connecting over that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Agree.
that's so true. The same as passion. If somebody is very passionate and they show every time whether they can talk properly or not, if you see their hard work, that speak volumes.
It
And
entices you
yeah.
to do more.
Hmm.
Yeah, and with Google Translate, there is no excuses. I have received in the countries where I don't speak the language, and I do try, but if all else fails, I smile, shake my head, and then hold up my phone like, "Can you please talk on the phone, please, so we can figure out how to get on the same page."
Agree.
Exactly.
Well, this has been amazing. One thing I guess I wanted to, I guess, give some advice that we've actually received, actually specifically Judy, when she went to another conference, is we think that and you had mentioned it too, is that the intimateness of being able to connect is really important, so that you don't feel like you're a number or you feel like there's actual opportunity. And so one of the things that they came to us about was, please keep it intimate. Please don't make it massive. So I think it's without a doubt that within the next few years, your organization is going to grow very quickly because you are doing things that people actually need, right? If the need is there, you're going to grow. So if there's ways that you can find to keep that space intimate and all those kinds of things, I feel like you guys will just grow exponentially and really kind of make a name, an even bigger name for yourselves. And that's just something that I wanted to share, because I think that we've really learned that that is key. And I think everybody here in this group actually prefers that too, to be quite honest. So just something to take back, and honestly wish you all the best with the organization. We can't wait to start doing our collaborations and have our phone call that we have scheduled for for in a week, 2 weeks. Time is going by really fast. November's around the corner.
Yes, definitely next week, and I am looking forward to it. Like I said, lots of respect and admiration for you guys, even coming together and doing this. Now being in this space, I have so much more respect for anybody that takes an idea and makes it reality, because it's definitely not an easy feat to do, especially when you're battling against social media algorithms.
Yeah, that's a given for sure. I think Dan's the more spiffy one on that. We just kind of like go with the flow or whatever. But yeah, the social media is not necessarily the easiest thing.
Oh, and Dan, why have you? I had somebody reach out to me, and they said that they found out about clinical research through your YouTube. And then from there, they was like, just kind of LinkedIn being like, you might be interested in these people. They
Yeah,
found me as well. So definitely you are changing the industry and bringing more people in, because your name has popped up in a few messages where I'm like, how did you find me? And they say that they started with you, and then
that's
through
crazy.
exploring
That's
found
crazy
me.
because I don't even know you until today, really. I mean, I heard about you recently, so I never referred anyone to you yet, but that'll change now. Now I'll do it like actively refer them
Gotta have her
over
on
to
the
you. So
podcast.
yeah, have her on the pod for sure.
And
It was nice
especially if
meeting
Dan
you.
is now joining your service,
I'm already
which I
in.
think
I'm
all
already
of
networking.
us are going to be. Well, I mean, I'm gonna join too.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you're
actually
gonna
just starting
have
the
all
process
of
right now.
us.
100%.
So they might get lucky and do a speech dating with Dan.
I've
Right.
done one of those on a conference. They're actually pretty cool.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I think that's something people enjoy, because I participate in the speed networking, and people are always surprised when it's me, and I'm like, surprise, it's me.
Wait, do your things have a countdown and everything? Because I was on this
Oh yes.
conference.
That's
There's a
cool.
countdown. There's no, and sometimes that timer would end, and I was like, oh, thank God. But other times I was like, oh, you know what? I need to remember that person's name because I need to get after them. So
We also give people an out, because we understand that just because we paired you together, you're not that great. So when we really believe in safe space, that
yeah,
we give people an out of saying, hey, I appreciate this opportunity, but this isn't working. And we move them around just so that they can continue to feel comfortable
Like
in their
rejection. Oh.
networking.
I mean, when that 1 minute countdown goes away, like there's nothing you can do. So sometimes it's an interesting dynamic that you can't
Nice.
really replicate. I don't think physically. I mean, maybe you can do it at a
Oh,
conference, but
look,
you're still gonna have
see,
to meet those people later.
Oh,
That's how Marianne.
Interesting.
It's
somebody
LinkedIn
just
user.
mentioned
Identify
that
yourself.
yeah, that's how Marianne and me
We're
meet
connected. That's
or
so interesting.
connect.
oh, yes. So we also keep that in mind. We also have a space specifically for business owners. We call it the executive circle, because we understand that
Wow.
their networking needs are different than people who are looking to be at CROs and sites. So we do keep in mind that people need different things. And in the pipeline for us, we are building out member interest groups. So if you're somebody that wants to be a group leader, please message me while we're working on an application. Because right now we're general, but we really want to honor people's interests. So like if you're interested in data management, you can network with people in data management versus just saying we're just talking to clinical researchers.
That's amazing. Honestly, that's so awesome,
Ah, I
especially the
love
owners.
that.
This is
Mhm.
great. Honestly, I really love hearing all this. This is such great news to hear. And then again, like I said, I'm pretty 100% sure you guys are going to be blowing up in no time. Um, what y'all are creating is amazing.
Yeah, Nicole Olguin was the person mentioning
She's
that
there.
that's how she met
Ah, okay.
Marianne. So we're talking about two co-founders and two directors that got connected that way. So we can't wait to meet both of them at the SOS.
Ah,
Yes.
that's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Honestly, I can when we had the first SOS, it was amazing. We had so many people that, I know Monica, Judy, and Dan had, you guys have been in the industry a bit longer than me. A lot of these people I had never got to meet in person. The kind of energy you feel and have when everybody you've spoke to that you connect well with, and that, is on the same page or on the same level as far as like creation or really trying to improve or whatever, the energy was so electric. It was insane. And honestly, it just feels like a really big get together. And because it's intimate, it's less than 500, it's not 1,000 people or, close to, 1,500 people. This is extremely intimate. It was just awesome. It was really such a great experience. And I really can't wait for it again. It just felt really amazing. But all right, you guys, we're already hitting time, so we're going to go ahead and start closing it out. Elizabeth, as you know, we're going to speak with you again next week already, so lots in the works there. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your story and sharing, everything it is that you were creating. Kudos to you and your team for what you're doing. We honestly can't wait to see. We need to do a check back in, maybe by the end of mid next year or something. We got to do some check-ins and see what you're doing and where you're at with the organization. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody who showed up today, who has been, interacting on our chat, and for all those that will be watching later. We hope that you take a lot of great information from this. Please, check out the CRRC organization, reach out with Elizabeth, and make sure you're connecting. And yeah, I don't know, Moni, Judy, Chris, Dan, did y'all want to say anything before we close it?
I mean,
No,
congrats.
just
It
thank
takes a
you
lot of
for
work.
your time today, and
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I was excited to learn more
Yeah,
about your
thank-
organization.
Well,
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for everything you do. And I cannot wait to speak with you again this next week.
yes.
And for everybody, just to remember the value of the great value that
Mhm.
networking has and the power it has.
100%.
Yes,
All right.
for sure.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
I wanted to say
No, Chris.
something.
Yeah, sorry,
Elizabeth,
Chris. Go ahead.
you have a very nice smile.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's high praise from Chris. High praise from Chris.
Chris doesn't come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that.
He's
High
on a
praise, Chris.
text thread where it's all out war on
Yeah.
another thread. And then he's coming here. Very nice compliment, Chris.
Very
Yes.
nice.
That means a
She's
lot.
not the one patronizing me. So
There, Chris is involved in a very wild text thread right now, by the way. Like, I'm just eating popcorn on that one. But the duality of the human nature is very interesting to see. But thank you very much, Elizabeth. We really appreciate it. Yeah, I want to do a podcast for sure, and everybody go connect with the app. The app,
Yep.
CRRC.
I
So
just joined.
www.joincrrc.com. So yes, that is how you find us. And then for anybody interested, every month we throw an open house. So I don't remember the date right now for November, but we're planning it. So I hope to see you all there, just so you can see some of our magic in action.
Awesome.
Elizabeth, how about you post the link
In the chat.
or post it here in the in the private chat, and I post it in the
the
actual video, so everybody has access to that. Oh, awesome, perfect.
Are you
Great.
near Concord?
So technically it's the same area, but I'm not
Okay.
close to it per se. So I live in the south of Charlotte, and that's closer to the north of Charlotte. So I'm about
Yeah,
3-ish minutes.
I know where it's at. My brother lives there. He's a assistant coach for UNC Charlotte basketball, so I'm familiar with Charlotte. And South Charlotte's where the nice mall is. There's a nice
Yep.
shopping mall right there.
Uh,
Awesome. All right, you guys. So thank you so much. We definitely put that
Thanks.
website already on the comments, but again, we'll also link you on the post.
Join
And
CRRC.com.
yes, and we'll also be sharing this on YouTube as well as our other platforms, and obviously on our website as well. And then you'll be with Dan, so all sorts of ways that we're going to try to get you some highlights, so to get people flowing to your page and get you more visibility, Elizabeth. But again, thank you so much, and thank you for everybody for watching, and for those who are watching later. And we'll see you next month. Thanks, you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
joining us.
Subscribe,
Bye.
comment, share,
Thank you so much.
follow.